Greetings, Inquisitor. Welcome to the Holocron. This is week 5 in the Rise of Obticeo. I started this account on the 1st of January, hit it with the Hyperdrive bundle, and we're building this account to rise as fast as possible through the new Grand Arena system. I'll update this account's progress every week, and you can follow along and see how we're doing. With that in mind, let's get into it, take a snoop around the account, and see what it looks like at the end of week 5. Now, week 4 was a pretty big week. We got our first Relic character. We took Kylo Ren unmasked up in Relic levels. We started working on Vader's Relic. We said we wanted to have him Relic'd on week 7. And you can see here, a whole week has passed. I've worked on Vader. We've got some materials for him, but we haven't managed to actually finish a single piece for his relics. So it's pretty hard to feed the shard shop consistently at this point in the game. So we ended up not making too much progress. But we got 2 more weeks. Let's see if we can pull it off on a 3-week cycle. 5s did get another gear tier. We did commit Carbantis to him. His gear tier going from 9 to 10 and 10 to 11. They're pretty greedy gear tiers. So we've managed to get him through those. That, of course, is to help his ship. We're using his ship and fleet. We've got it up to 6 stars now. It's an interesting ship. It's pretty fast. It's got a good balance of durability and damage. So it's a nice ship here at the start of the game. 5s is a character that we want to be working on anyway. So it's a pretty good combination. Biggs, we got to gear 12. He hasn't had any progress, of course, since the last week. We're not really focused on him anymore. It's probably he'll just stay at gear 12 for a long time. We did get a lot of work in the Geos. We spent most of our credits this week on them. And you'll see all the Geos are now level 85, but they're all waiting on Carbantis. So you see a Carbanti there for Spy, need a Carbanti on the Sunfac, need a stun gun on the Brood Alpha, which of course is waiting on the Carbanti part. That's true of a lot of the characters that we want to build in this account. If we look at Jedi Knight Anakin, 5s, just about any character that we're looking to put effort into, this Carbanti is showing up across all of them. So that's the limiting factor. We'll expect to get a couple Carbantis a week. So the next Carbantis are all going toward Geos, and we'll try to get them stabilized. 5s also needs a Carbanti to go to gear 12. So if we get all 3 of them next week, they'll all go to the Geos, but then we'll get back to 5s and try to get him to gear 12 and keep that momentum going with our fleet. If we start to lose fleet placement and we feel like we need 5s to go to gear 12, then we may have to revisit that plan and take a look and go ahead and commit a Carbanti to him sooner than we'd planned. The next Zeta for this account will be on Queen's Will for the Geos. We have 16 parts out of 20. If GAC hadn't crashed this week, we surely would have been able to finish that out and get it on there. But certainly over the course of the next week, I'll be able to finish out that Zeta, and we'll get Queen's Will onto the Geos. In terms of the rest of the teams, everything looks pretty much the same as it did in the prior week. We really didn't get that much progress on mods overall. We didn't apply mods to any characters that didn't have mods. We're just working on the ones that do have mods and working on the mod inventory so that the next time we go in to mod a character, hopefully we'll have some better mods to choose from. So just continuing to build up the stock right now. In terms of progress, we were able to go into the ship nodes this week and try a little bit of progress. And if we look at normal fleet 5e is a very tough node to get through. I feel like I got pretty lucky. I went in there and got some lucky stuns with the TIE silencer and got through it. Got through it with 1 star, but that gets me past that node. I got through the next few nodes with low stars. And I did try to duplicate that for the purpose of this video, but I was unsuccessful. And, 2 more tries at 5e, and I could not complete it again. So I just got some good RNG and got past that node. But getting past that 5e node in fleet in week 5, to me, I thought was much sooner than I expected. We could not finish the Shock T node even with 1 star. So right now, the Shock T node itself, the 5A hard, is incomplete. And I'm going to work on the Home 1 and try swapping out the Endurance capital ship for the Home 1 and see if I can't make progress on that node with a different capital ship. So we got some things that we can try, but as of right now, I did manage to get past the normal nodes, but no luck so far actually getting that Shock T node. And of course, that's one that we want to farm because we do plan to go for the Shock T clones quite early on this account. So the account status as of 5 weeks, galactic power is now 1.13 million. We added another 40,000 over the course of the week, and that was mostly in the Geos. Get a couple gear tiers and get them all up to level 85. Still 1 Relic, still 2 Zetas. In the squad arena, we've got EP, Vader, and that Kylo Ren Unmasked Relic. And we put in a couple Geos. Our Geos are getting better now, so we put in the Brute Alpha and the Soldier, and that just gives us, some more characters in the team to... Honestly, it's more about holding on defense. It makes it harder for opponents to beat us in the arena. In Fleet Arena, we've got the Endurance, Silencer, 5s, and Bigs as a starting crew. Still getting top 5. In the project is still going to be getting that Relic onto Vader in week 7. See if we can pull that off. The energy plan for next week, 7 hard farms: Hyena Bomber, Vulture Droid, BTLB, TIE Bomber, Piett, Mon Mothma, and Resistance Hero Finn nodes. In Fleet, we're doing Anakin, Greef, and the Gear 13 stuff for Vader. In Cantina, we've just been farming the Geo Brute Alpha. We really haven't farmed that much signal data yet. When we finish up with the Brute Alpha, hopefully next week we'll be done with that, and then we'll get back on to the signal data to work on Vader for Gear 13. For mod energy, we're just farming mods. We'll farm mostly speed, maybe some defense mods in the next week. For refreshes, we're using 3 on mods, 3 on energy, 3 on fleet, and some on Cantina on the appropriate days when it's all energy and Cantina energy day. And I'm holding some crystals in the bank with the intention that if I can get the Endurance event to come up, I do want to refresh the Endurance event once each time it comes up, that I can complete it, and take a short cycle on getting that Endurance all the way to 7 stars. Now, it costs me crystals that otherwise I could just save if I was patient, but getting that ship to 7 stars could help a lot in GAC. It could help a lot in squad or in Fleet Arena, and it gets me ready for the gas event so that I don't have to worry about whether or not I have a capital ship for the gas event. So if I can get that out of the way, then for sure I'm going to do that. Shop plan for next week. We are using Cantina energy to feed the shard shop, but I've also started to fill up Cassian's U-Wing. Cassian's U-Wing has a premium value for converting to shard shop currency because you get 5 ship shards, and it converts to quite a bit more shard shop currency than 10 character shards. It's about a 25 to 30% increase in the amount of shards that you get on every conversion. So it's quite a big deal. And I want that ship anyway. So again, it'll take a while to fill that up, but we have started doing that a little bit at a time. In the guild store, we're just looking for Carbantis, and then when we get enough built up in the bank, we're looking to work on some of these characters, Starck, some of the clones that come out of the guild store. In squad, we're buying gear and feeding the shard shop, and then occasionally buying some Nute shards. We do want to get a 7-star Nute at some point. He's a nice, flexible character. He can do a lot of cool things in Grand Arena, so we'll get him up and going. And like I mentioned before, we've got so many characters that we need to level up anyway that we're not in a hurry to get another new character that we have to get to level 85. Just not enough credits for that. In the Galactic War Store, we're working on Biggs X-Wing and the Geo ships, and then we still have to finish Poggle at some point. In Fleet, we're saving up so that we've always got enough to buy Grievous and Sunfax ship whenever we see them, and then also buying Umbaran and Geos when they show up and we have the currency for it. In the Guild Event Store, Malevolence and saving for gas. In the Shard Shop, just buying those purples for the Gear 12 stuff for Vader. Throwing pennies. So this week we had 40,000 galactic power of progress, but overall, if you look to the account, there's really not that much to see. all we really did was improve the Geos and their ships. And, we got a gear tier on 5s. But overall, the progress for the account this week was limited. So 40,000 of progress, and it doesn't feel like there's much to show for it. But just suffice to say, for any early game account builder, and especially, even more for people who buy the hyperdrive bundle, it's going to feel like that. So I use this idea of filling. So there's certain gear that you may be out of. You're going to get it from the game. It's going to come through events. It's going to come through the daily challenges. And you just have to let that gear fill in and use it wisely. Character shards have to fill. You guys should know by now that I'm a big fan of pushing all kinds of stuff over to the shard shop and using that shard shop to really accelerate the rate at which I'm able to relic characters. So early in the game, you can do that, but a lot of those characters that you're getting shards for, you still don't have 7 stars on them. So they aren't overflow shards. They're just getting the characters to 7 stars in the first place. So like when you open your Bronzium packs on a advanced account, an older account, you get tons of shard shop stuff out of there. Every character that you get like 2 shards, 10 shards, whatever it is that you get, converts to shard shop currency. But for a newer account, you're just getting those shards in the first place. So it takes a few months to stabilize that. I have to remind myself a little bit to be patient and to just focus all my resources on fleet. Hopefully, if there's anything you guys take away from this, you could see that I just went all in on pilots right away. We've been doing very well in fleet and getting first or second place in fleet almost every day. It's $20 worth of crystals a week that you get out of fleet, right? 400 a day, 7 days, that's 2,800. That's the amount that you can buy for $20 in the game. So by focusing all my efforts right up front on fleet, getting a fleet that can compete for the top few places and get that crystal income, that's how I'm building this account. That's how I'm going to save up those 800 crystals to work on endurance. That's how it's done. And the reason I called it throwing pennies is there's an old saying about trying to fill up a hallway by throwing a penny at a time. It feels like that, right? It feels like you're trying to fill up a hallway 1 penny at a time. So let's talk about modding, right? So we've been working on this account for 5 weeks. So let's take a look at the status of the mods. So one thing that I've suggested before, and I'll remind everybody about, or if you're new to this idea, when you're farming mods, these level E, Mark E gray mods that you get, on the left-hand side, the square, the diamond, and the circle, I sell those. So instead of working on them and spending currency on trying to find a good gray mod, instead, I'm just selling them and generating currency. So that cuts down the amount of mods I get to look at, but it also manages credits in a way where I can still farm a lot of mods and work on that, I think, at the right rate, but have enough credits to still be able to work on characters and level guys up and things like that. The moral of the story, at the end of the day, it's a massive reduction in slicing material requirements. If you work on these gray mods, even if they roll 5 speed and good stats, you still have to slice them a bunch before they get any good. And by not investing in them in the first place, selling them for credits, and then not using those slicing materials to hope that something comes out good, it really puts me in a better advantaged place in terms of credits. So I'm doing that again. I did it on the Loquitur account. And, after a year on the Loquitur account, I still sell most of those gray mods. It helps balance out the credits in a way that I think works out quite well. Now, it is important to notice that those mods that I circled there do occur more frequently. So if you farm for a week and then you look at how many of each type of mod you have, you'll have far more of those square, diamond, and circle than you do of the other kind. Arrows and crosses seem to be more rare. And then for me, at least, triangles seem to drop even less than the arrows or crosses. So if we sell off all the E-quality mods for that side, it actually evens out the mods much better, and you have roughly, closer to the same amount of the right hand mods as you do the left hand mods. So again, it helps with your economy. It balances it out. But you don't want to sell off the gray mods for the right hand side because you don't get enough of those, and you need to work on those and see what you get. So the results after 5 weeks, I've got one mod that rolled 23 speed on 4 rolls, so that's nice. Actually, it's 22 speed. I did take that mod to 6 dots, so the 23rd speed, I suppose, is due to being a 6 dot mod. But anyway, we got one good, let's say, natural mod. We have 6 of them that are 14 to 16 on 3 rolls that I would consider worthy of slicing. We have 4 of them with 11 to 13 on 3 rolls, and those I tend not to want to slice, even though there's a chance that I could get more speed rolls on them. The existing 3 speed rolls are, a lot of 3s and 4s, so I'm not as excited about rolling those on slices. So those 4 mods will probably just stay at the speed that they're at currently. And then I have about 8 mods that have 10 or 11 on 2 rolls. And to get 10 or 11 on 2 rolls, that's 2 5s or a 5 and a 6. And those mods, I consider the highest potential for slicing, because if you've already got a 5 and a 6, then future slices can get that mod speed up to a pretty high level. So we'll work on slicing those at some point in the future. But if you look at the number of mods that I've farmed and then, sold off the Mark 5E mods and got rid of all of them, then the amount of mods that I have is really statistically average. So it's neither good nor bad. I didn't get lucky. I didn't get unlucky. This is statistically about what you would expect. With the amount that we've had in 5 weeks, maybe we could expect, maybe 1 or 2 more of them up here at the 4 rolls to be on statistical average, but it's not bad. It's pretty much what you should expect to have with 5 weeks of mod work. So somewhere in the middle. So for new players, if you're working on mods and you've been working on mods for 5 weeks and you don't see mods with those kinds of substats in your account, you got to get busy. You got to watch my mod videos and learn and have a mod strategy so that you can start getting those going. Especially early in Grand Arena, getting your Vader going fast, for example. If they put a team like Vader on defense and your Vader is faster than theirs, you win. With a lot of these teams that you can build, troopers, Imperial troopers, for example, even the Geos, if you build one of your Geos fast enough to, kick off the turn meter train with the Geos, Soldier getting extra on critical hits, and Spy getting extra on a basic or on an attack that applies a debuff, you can get 2 or 3 turns before the opponent can go. So getting a fast Geo, for example, is a really big deal. So getting those early mods going, getting the speed substats going is very important. If you're not doing that already, really look into it, figure out what that looks like. If you don't do it at the start, it's just going to be harder and harder for you to catch up the longer it goes on. That's all I got to say for this week. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. If there's things that you want to see in the future, questions that you have about early game play or account building, just drop them in the comments down below, and I'll be happy to try to answer the questions or put them in my next holocron and try to get everybody an answer if it's something that maybe everybody would want to know. Thank you all for your time. Appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next holocron.